Hi. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I create an audio system using Wise for chaos collision and break events. I'm going to start with a little bit of gameplay to showcase everything. Then I will go into the technical side of implementation in Unreal, and then I will show you guys the Wise side of everything. That was the different kinds of destruction for different scales. I will show you how I implemented everything. First of all, I wanted to do multiple versions of this, so obviously, as you can see, I have the large squares and the tiny squares. Both have similar processes, but for the big ones, I'm using a collision event, and then for the smaller ones, I am using a break event. So to start, what I came across is that if you kind of just hook everything in and then try and play, you get CPU overload because you simply just cannot play every single collision event or else your CPU explodes. So what I decided to do was I figured out how to create different filters that filter out based on velocity and mass. So to start, what I did, like I said, was I take the velocity, I times it by the mass, that gives me the momentum. Then I filter out certain velocities and certain masses for really tiny pieces moving really fast, or every single debris of dust, or little tiny rocks that would re-trigger this event. And inside of this function that I made is I have two RTPCs that are driving everything. I'll show you that in the Y section of it, but basically I just get the mass, the momentum we just calculated into their own RTPC values, and then post the impact and debris events. And then for the break, it's very similar. I'm filtering out by mass, momentum, or sorry, I'm filtering out by velocity and mass while also calculating momentum. And then this one is a direct break event. And then for both of these, they have the same custom bullet impact function where you just get the damage amount because the only damage you take in this template is from the bullets, the damage reference, and then you post the event that gives it the little impact sound that's like protruding or breaking rocks, and that all turns into what you saw. So that's like the quick Unreal side of everything of how I got it to work. And then I also set up some different fracturing for the big ones. I just wanted one level. I just wanted the collision value, and then for the smaller ones, I did the same, but instead of doing uniform, I did clusters. So different fracturing elements for different masses. They also give me different abilities to do different things depending on the RTPCs. How I wanted to break this up in Wise was I wanted a switch group for both the debris and the impacts to be controlled by an RTPC. So as you can see, I have different masses set up for different size of collisions and debris. So inside of the switch group, you have an impactor child, and I fed each individual child around 6 to 8 source files. And then I did a little bit of RTPC work, as you can see. So depending on the momentum, the velocity, and the mass that I just went over in Unreal, different sounds will trigger based off of those values. So to give you a quick demo for the impacts and the debris, So on top of that, I also did some stuff with the bullet casing and the clip drops, where the clips or the bullet casing, sorry, always happens on the right side. So I want it to bounce, it'll roll, it'll change direction, everything. So I wanted to simulate that off of different time or duration parameters and different key locations. And then for the clip as well, the clip always goes on the left side, so it won't roll around quite as much, obviously, as the bullet casing, but it can go from one place to another, probably only over 1 second, so that's why I just left it at that. That's kind of the wise breakdown of impactor and the switch group being controlled by the RTPCI. So I hope I showed you guys something cool, and stay tuned for the next video as I'm probably going to keep working on some cool stuff like this.